How's it going? Firstly, thank you so much for coming to the National Space Centre here in Leicester for the return of the Garrison. Without you guys, this event couldn't happen. I mean, there's a lot goes into it, obviously putting it on and organising it, what have you. But it's all about you guys showing up and supporting the event as you do year on year. So thank you very much for that. Also, thank you on behalf of the charity that I support, Little People UK, because funds raised here this weekend, thank you, go to help them do what they do, and it's brilliant. And let me just tell you a little bit about what Little People UK are about. It's a charity that is set up to help people with dwarfism. It's a condition that I have, but I've been very fortunate in life and been able to kind of get a half-decent job and all of that sort of stuff, and make my way in the world. But I feel I've been very lucky, whereas a lot of people with dwarfism aren't quite so lucky in life, and actually can suffer quite a lot of medical issues, and also can find it quite difficult socially, and can become quite isolated and that sort of thing. So the charity is set up to help them, and to connect people together, to connect people with the medical profession. We work with doctors, and I mean, there's loads going on. So yeah, the money that has been raised this weekend certainly will help us continuing to do our work to help people in this country with dwarfism. So thank you for that. Now, without further ado, we'll carry on with this Q&A. Daniel, we've not met before.
We haven't, no.
Daniel, tell our folks here a little bit about your involvement with Star Wars, how you became involved with the film, and indeed the film you were involved with.
I'd love to say that I was all the way through Rogue One, but no, it's quite an interesting story because I was literally out jogging, and a phone call from my agent, and she said, Danny, we've had a call, basically you've been offered a role in Rogue One, and would I like to do it? I then stopped running and said most definitely. So I was part of the reshoots. I wasn't part of the main unit. That section of the film was obviously directed by Gareth Edwards. So Tony Gilroy was in charge of the reshoots. I think they shot for about 3 weeks. I then had a Skype chat with Tony, and they sent me the one scene. So I knew it was a very good scene, about 3 pages, lots of dialogue. The character was called Tivik, and that's basically all I knew. So I didn't have to audition. It was an offer, which was, I felt really honoured and privileged to be part of the Star Wars world, and I'm a huge fan of it.
You were a Star Wars fan before?
Yeah, and I tell you what it was, my son was 10 years of age, Milo then, and leading up to the release of Force Awakens, we watched all of the episodes pretty much back to back, or over like a long weekend. I couldn't let him endure that, and so we then watched, the Force Awakens, and it was just the fact that Rogue One came along was just astounding, and Milo's jaw hit the floor when I told him. Yeah,
fantastic, fabulous. And I mean, for a lot of people, Rogue One was a pretty decent Star Wars film, wasn't it? I mean, we all enjoyed that tremendously. I mean, it was to work on it was quite a different experience to the previous films, certainly from my perspective, because Gareth Edwards has a very unique approach to making films. He wanted to get that real kind of raw, kind of almost like a documentary feel to the film, and in doing that, he didn't used to say action, so you never really know when they were filming and when they weren't filming, which is quite tricky, because when you're wearing a creature head, you kind of, when you're not filming, you tend to just relax because it's all very heavy and very hot. You don't do very much, but you had to kind of really keep the whole thing alive just in case they started filming and you hadn't realised. So it was quite unique, but I think it gave that film a kind of raw energy that it otherwise perhaps wouldn't have done, and a naturalness.
Is it true that the kind of remit was that he wanted it to be like a war movie? Was that the...
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean,
yeah.
Before I think Star Wars kind of battle scenes had been quite clinical almost, and you never really saw the fallout from them. You never saw the result of these huge wars and the Empire and what they were doing throughout the galaxy. But I think Rogue One kind of shows the people's perspective on what that means, doesn't it? The kind of what they went through as kind of civilizations in these various different parts of the galaxy, and I think it showed that, and that's what I know he was keen to do. Grayson, I think you guys need to ask us questions now, because you're always very good at that. So if you've got a question, raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to your mouth, and you can deliver the question. So here's the question. Wow, look at all of you. Yes, you have, over here. It's going to be a tricky one near the speaker, but we'll do our best. If it squeals, I'll pull it away.
Are you going to be part of the Han Solo movie?
I am doing that, I can say I am, yes. That's all I can say though, no more than that. Fabulous. You come through here.
With all your involvement in all the Star Wars films so far, do you think it's time that you had a lead role, a major role?
You know, I enjoy...
And so say all of us.
I enjoy just being a part of it, however small that part is. It's really lovely that they asked me to come and do these things, because there's no reason they need to, you know what I mean? But hopefully each character I do, I bring something to it, you know, and yeah, it's just a joy for me. I mean, Wicket the Ewok, you know, all those years ago, just started off as a background character. You know, it wasn't even a character, it was one of about 40 Ewoks, just to fill up the numbers to make the Ewok village look, you know, habitated. Habitated? Is that the word? I just made a word up then. Anyway, you know what I mean.
You're Warwick Davis, you can do anything.
Habitated, it's a good word though, isn't it? It just sounds like a real word, but I don't think it is. But yeah, populated, that's better. While we were doing it, I think as an 11-year-old boy, I went a bit off-piste with it, and I started thinking, well, there's an R2 unit over there. I think as an Ewok, I would go and have a look at that, because it's a bit unique, it's a bit different. I'm used to looking at rocks and twigs and stuff, so I would wander over and kind of have a look at it, and then the director would sort of spot this and go, right, we need to get a shot of this, look at that, it's brilliant. And I just kept doing that, and I kept doing more little sequences. Then I was asked to go to America along with about 6 other Ewok actors, including Mike Edmonds, who played Logray, Jack Purvis, who is Tebow, and while we were in America, again, I was just a background Ewok, but it was the idea of bringing 6 over to America was to join the American Ewoks, as we called them, was so that you'd recognise some of the Ewok characters, and it would feel like the same tribe. It wouldn't be 2 distinct tribes. And while we were doing that, Kenny Baker, he got ill with food poisoning, and it was the morning they were going to film the scene with Princess Leia, where an Ewok discovers her, and they just brought me in to do that scene. So, and then beyond that, I became Wicket, and the rest is history. And it's weird, you know, seeing all of you guys here today over at the signing table. It's still all about Wicket, you know, all the photos I'm signing, the figures, the toys. It's all about that character. And when you think that was like a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, you know, it's incredible how something will resonate, you know, with people. So, but anyway, to get back to the question, yeah, it's fun to be back for episode 8 and also for Han Solo. It's terrific. I enjoy the experience of making films. And like all of you, I'm a fan anyway. So when I'm on set and I see something, like on Rogue One, when you see things that you're familiar with from Star Wars, you know, it's exciting. You know, if you see a mouse droid, it's like, where's a mouse? That's a real one, though. You know, when you're in the studios, you kind of know that they're like legit, and it's kind of exciting. You know, when I saw Chewbacca again for the first time, it was just like, it's great.
Oh, when the stormtroopers turned up in my scene, exactly. I near enough fainted.
Exactly, it was very exciting, isn't it? Very exciting. Good question, thank you for that. Oh, now we've got some questions. I'll come to you in a second. We'll go to this young person here. What did I think of it? Oh, why are you asking me that? Are you a journalist? What did we think of episode 1? Oh, thank you. I was in it, so I liked it. What about you? What did you think of it? You enjoyed it, really enjoyed it, great. Because it was the beginning of the story, isn't it? It was getting everything going, telling the story. Yeah, I liked it. Thank you for that question. What about you? Did you enjoy it?
Episode 1.
Yeah.
Fantastic, yeah.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, there you go. But for me, I mean, I'm a bit older than you are, only a little bit. And my Star Wars is the classic trilogy, because I grew up with them as a kid. I was your age, and sort of they feel like they're my Star Wars. I kind of own them a little bit more than I own the prequels. But for you, it's probably like the prequels. You feel like they're your Star Wars. Yeah, cool.
Did George Lucas direct all three?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. And I'd forgotten this until it came out in the news this week. But I think he had originally asked Ron Howard to direct Episode 1. And then when Ron, I don't know what the situation was, but he didn't do it. Then George did it. But and here we now sort of come full circle now, and he is directing Han Solo. So it's very interesting, isn't it? Cool. Okay, let's see. You were next, weren't you? Yes.
What's your favourite Star Wars movie and why?
Favourite Star Wars movie? I like Empire Strikes Back. I think it's a great film because there was a lot going on, wasn't there? A lot of things happened and stuff wasn't resolved, and it was quite an interesting film. The middle film is quite an interesting place. Return of the Jedi, I thought that was a great film. Not because I was in it, but I thought it was. We learnt a lot, didn't we? A lot of things were resolved and what have you. Rogue One, definitely loved that film. Really, the thing to me, it was about how close it came to A New Hope. You know, and you were like, oh, we were the other side of that door before, now we're here. You know, and you kind of, it was, as Gareth put it, it's sort of touching another great film, wasn't it? And I thought that was really interesting. You got to find out what characters were doing while other stuff was going on somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? Imagine there is on YouTube somewhere. It'd be interesting to kind of cut the two films together. Do you know what I mean? The kind of the beginning of A New Hope and the end of Rogue One, kind of, and cut the two together to get a real good perspective on all those moments.
I do really like The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
I think it had a nod and a wink to the originals, and yet it just renewed the franchise again. And the moment with Han Solo is deeply moving, is it not?
Which bit? The Chewie we're home
That
moment?
no, well, I don't want to. Everyone's
Spoiler
obviously
alert.
seen it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So,
Easy on that. But that moment. I know what you mean. I know. Yeah. But I like that when he said Chewie we're home.
Yeah, amazing.
And he stood in the Millennium
But
Falcon.
John Boyega and Daisy Ridley just hit the ground running.
They did, and they feel like they're as
fantastic.
much a part of it as Luke
Brilliant.
Skywalker and
Yeah.
Han Solo do. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Good question. Well done. Who else have we got? Okay. You again in a minute. Okay.
Given the decision, would you join the Empire or the Resistance?
If I was given the decision to join the Empire or the Resistance, which would it be? Oh, I don't know. Who's winning at the minute? The Resistance, I think. I think so. I don't know what that Empire lot are up to, honestly. Yeah, there is, because also the Empire, they're a bit cocky, aren't they, really? Because they didn't think the Ewoks could defeat them, and look what happened. They just think, oh, we're so brilliant with all our technology. They weren't looking out for rocks and twigs and stuff, were they? So that's it, the end of it. So yeah, I've got to be with that lot, yeah. What about you, though?
I have to say Resistance, don't I? But I mean, Tivik was kind of a spy, wasn't he? So, I mean, he was for the Resistance, but I think he could be easily swayed.
You're sort of on the fence, aren't you? A bit?
Kind of a bit on the fence, yeah.
Good question. Nice one. Do we have one down here? Okay. Hello.
What was your favourite part of being in Star Wars?
Favourite part about being in Star Wars? Daniel, you take this one first.
Just to be part of the whole universe of Star Wars. I mean, it's such an iconic, incredible world to be part of. So, even though I was only one scene, I felt just honoured to be just a small part of it, really. Yeah, it's because I'm like everyone here, like a huge fan and grown up and watched all of the films. So it's it gives you a nice warm feeling to be, just part of that universe.
Yeah, for me it is. It's being part of it. It's also working with the brilliant people that we work with on these films. You know, the cast, the crew, the directors. I mean, I'm fortunate to get to work with the creature department quite a lot. So on the newer films, it's Neil Scanlon and his team. They build all of the creatures, all of the droids that you see in the films, and they're such an amazing team. They're all fans like you guys, but they get to put their kind of passion on the screen in these new films, and it's brilliant. It's exciting for me to walk into the studio each time we come to do a new film, and they say, right, Warwick, here's what we're going to put you in this time. This is what you're going to play. And I look at an illustration, I go, wow, that's so cool, you know. And I start creating a story in my head about this character and where he's come from and, you know, what he's been doing. And so it's a real delight.
That's the thing that blew me away when I had the day on set, was because it was a street scene. And you just kind of get to see up close and personal all the animatronics and all of the props, and there were so many different characters and within that street scene, so it was great to sort of see that and be part of that. And but the whole kind of scale of it kind of takes your breath away. You know, the street sets were absolutely huge. So you don't actually have to use that much of your imagination, because you just kind of feel completely and utterly in that space.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when you watch these films, you think, oh, it's all CG and everything, but they do build a lot of it. You know, you can be fully immersed as a performer within these environments. They're totally realised as physical sets, and the creatures are realised as real creatures, and the droids are there. Yes, enhancements will happen with CG later on, but much of it, you know, 90% of it is actually there, and you feel like you are part of this Star Wars galaxy. It's fabulous. Yeah. Good. Right, back to the journalist down here, I think. Okay.
Who is your favourite character that he plays apart from Wicket?
Favourite character apart from Wicket? Oh gosh, I think it was Weetie Sayubi in Rogue One. You see a little moment with him, but what I liked about that character, for me, I got to have a laser gun for once. I've never had a weapon in Star Wars before, and that was the first time. So to get to kind of shoot a weapon was cool. But you can't help it. When you're in a film with a gun, you can't help go, pew, pew, pew. And then they were like, Warwick, you don't need to do that bit. We can put that on after. So it's pretty exciting stuff, I tell you. But for that character, you know, I couldn't see or hear anything else, like, because it was all animatronic. So I got somebody in my ear telling me, aim left a bit, aim left, no right a bit, the other way. You know, so it's a miracle I hit any stormtroopers at all. You can see what I was doing. But yeah, that was fun. I like doing that. And you notice something about that character? His name begins with W. Which, if you think about Star Wars, all of the characters I've played throughout the years have begin with the letter W. And Lucasfilm, kind of unbeknown to me, are continuing that tradition, which is really... Because remember, in episode 7, my character was Woolervan, another W. So, as long as they don't run out of character names beginning with W, hopefully I can carry on being in Star Wars films.
Yeah.
Good question. Right, any more? You've got one back there, haven't you? And then we've got one over here in a minute. Come on through here.
From all the films you've been in, have you ever collected any props as memorabilia, and which is your favourite?
When you say collected, do you mean stole? What are you saying? What are you trying to say here? I mean, we don't get given props as such, you know, as memorabilia. Although from Return of the Jedi, I have... you remember Wicket swings some bolas, 2 rocks on a piece of leather around his head. I've still got those. I've got some Ewok toes, just the toes off the end of a foot. I don't know, there's no foot, no Ewok, just the toes. And I have a little Ewok arrow. One's from a bow and arrow. So that's what I have from Star Wars. I've also got a piece of the Death Star as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is a cool one, that. I've also got a Willow wand. You know, one of the wands from Willow. I have a Gringotts galleon, gold coin, that was given to my daughter actually by the producer. Some stuff from Labyrinth. I actually got that stuff out of a skip in the studios. I was like, oh, I'll have one of them. It was some rock. You know the rocks that if you've seen Labyrinth, they're great. It was some of the rubber rocks that chased us around the village. But yeah, as a result, I mean, Harry Potter, I haven't got anything. I'd love a wand from Harry Potter. But they're very strict on
costumes.
Set,
Did you keep any?
I have a leprechaun costume.
Right.
And costume.
I've got a whole array of suits. I've got the suit from Funland, the suit from Vera Drake. The only other, I don't really take props.
I mean, you don't get given them as an actor,
Yeah.
do you? Anyway, and they're,
I've
they're
got
more strict now.
I've got the glasses, Jim Keats glasses from Ashes to Ashes.
Very good.
I took those.
Very good. Yeah, I've got some pairs
But
of
don't
glasses.
tell anyone I told you.
I've got some pairs of glasses. Yeah, I've got.
They want them back.
I've got my whole outfit from Jonathan Creek, so I can dress as a vicar if I want to.
Okay, yeah.
Which is quite good. Got the really, I got all that stuff. Some trench coats from Billionaire Boy. I've got a whole butler's outfit. I could be a butler as well. Got all that. So yeah, excellent. Very good question. You got a question?
If you could be anyone in Star Wars, who would you be?
If we could be anyone in Star Wars, who would we be? That's a good question. Who would we be? Friend or foe? Villain or goodie? That's the first thing to decide, isn't it? I'd like to play somebody like Emperor Palpatine. I think he was fantastic. Ian McDiarmid, wasn't he?
Very good.
All of that. You boy will die. All that, you do all that stuff. It's wicked, isn't it? It just screams and lightning comes out your fingers.
My Han Solo is my favourite character, without question.
Why is that then? Why?
Just so you can fly the Millennium Falcon, can't you? And he was the cool character.
Yeah, but if you're the Emperor, you go, I'm going to steal the Millennium Falcon and fly it. No, I mean, Han Solo is a popular choice, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Because he's a bit of a scoundrel, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you love working with Harrison Ford?
I did. I mean, Harrison was lovely. For me, again, as a kind of an 11, 12-year-old boy, I would just go up to him and start chatting, and I think he was like, oh man, this little kid's doing me head in. But I was the youngest person on the set, so I think they'd never had anybody kind of running around like this before, you know, a kind of a loose fan amongst them. And yeah, he was great. He was great, and he was very gracious actually at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando when I introduced him onto the stage and then made a joke about him landing his plane on the freeway. He took it very well. Yeah. Afterwards, I sort of said it was that cool, and he was like, "It's fine." And then his lawyer called me. But no, it's all good. It's all good. Excellent. Good question. Thank you very much for that. I don't know whether we answered it, but it was good anyway. Oh, not him again. Okay. And you got one here. We'll come back to you in a sec.
Ties on to the other one. What was your fondest memory of Carrie Fisher?
Fondest memory of Carrie Fisher. Oh, I mean, I've got loads of memories of Carrie. For me, aside from her looking after me when I was 11 on the set, worrying about me getting too hot in the Ewok suit and everything, it's the time we spent on stage at various celebration events. Just me interviewing her and her being such a great sport and such a brilliant entertainer. I mean, honestly, it was like I could just say something to Carrie and she'd start telling a story. The crowd loved her. She was so relaxed on stage. If you ever saw her, she would kick her shoes off, lay on the couch. The dog would be running around chewing up Ewoks and what have you. I mean, it was... And then she'd always love to get involved with the reenactments that I would love to do. And if you haven't seen any of that stuff, go home, get YouTube up, StarWars.com YouTube, and you'll see some of the stuff we used to do on stage. It was fabulous. So for her, it was her humour and kind of irreverence, and she cared deeply about the character, but there was, at the same time, it's like she didn't care, and she sort of would pull Star Wars apart, do you know what I mean? But she did care deeply about that, and the fans as well. She loved the fans. Yeah, she kind of left the big hole, I think, in the Star Wars cast universe, as it were. Yeah.
Is she obviously in the new film coming out? Had she completed work on that, or?
I don't know what the status was. So we have to wait and see. Yeah. Indeed, we have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, it was a big shock. But she was a terrific lady, and I think we just remember her with the kind of the fun times, really. Very good. Thank you for that. You've got a question down here. We've got time for 3 more fantastic questions. One of them is going to come from this lady here.
Are you excited about the opening of Star Wars Land and it being in America in 2019?
Star Wars Land, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
What's that?
Well, there's going to be at the Hollywood Studios theme park, which is part of the Walt Disney World resort. There is going to be a Star Wars Land, whatever you want to call it, so you can totally immerse yourself in the world of Star Wars. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be like. I was there recently. There's a lot of building going on. They've sort of taken out half the park now and have started work in earnest. But what it's going to be like, I don't know. But I think it's really exciting. We've seen how well Warner Brothers have done with Universal Studios and Harry Potter. It's fabulous. I mean, the immersive nature of those places I think lends itself to Star Wars, definitely. And I can't wait. And I hope they bring back Star Wars weekends as well, because has anyone been to Star Wars weekends in America? It's fantastic, yeah. Well, I used to do year on year those events, and I hope they come back because they were fabulous. A little bit like this, but in the Florida sunshine, basically. That's the only difference. Good, great question. We've got, there's one down here, one over there, and one over. So we're going to take these three, yeah, Daniel? Yes. Okay, so you first.
What has been your favourite to act in, Star Wars or Doctor Who?
Oh, that's a good one. Have you ever been in a Doctor Who?
I have done an episode of Doctor Who, indeed.
Which one? Tell us.
I was in Night Terrors with Matt Smith, which was a whole lot of fun because we got miniaturised and sucked into a wardrobe. No, sucked into a doll's house, and then I was chased by enormous peg dolls holding a ginormous pair of pink scissors.
Just another day at the office.
Yeah, and then there was a great. We were sort of fending these peg dolls off, and Matt Smith was there, and he literally stepped out of the shot and turned around and just started laughing at me during the take. He was wonderful to work with, Matt.
Yeah,
and he was just fantastic in the role.
The episode I did was it was called Nightmare in Silver, and it was the Cybermen sort of return, and Matt Smith was the Doctor, and it was a lot of fun. I think that was. I mean, I love Star Wars, but I've always wanted to be in Doctor Who. Always wanted to, because being a kid, watching it from behind the sofa and all that stuff, and it used to
Make
scare
a
me.
brilliant Doctor yourself, Warwick.
Well, I've been trying to tell him.
What's going on?
I've been trying to tell him.
Maybe you are, and you're not telling us.
You know what? I don't mind doing it. I don't ask for a whole series, but when they regenerate again and become somebody else, right? Something goes wrong. Okay, there's a power surge, or they run out of power. Like when you're trying to update your phone and the battery goes, you've knackered it, right? That's what happens, right, for a bit. And it's me, okay? Just for a couple of weeks, and then they sort it out, and it becomes whoever he is. But when you go in the TARDIS, it's all a bit smaller inside. Everything's flipped around.
Is the next episode of Doctor Who we will find out who the new one is? Am I right in saying that?
I don't know. It's been on every. Is it going to be a woman? Is it going to be a man?
I hope it's a woman.
You hope so?
I think so.
It's about time. Who hopes it's going to be a lady doctor?
Oh,
You do. All the ladies.
I'm on my own there. Yeah.
Excellent. Good question. Right. We're coming to you at the end. It's you next. You look like Harry Potter when he was younger.
What was your favourite planet out of Star Wars?
Favourite Star Wars planet? I think Scarab's quite nice, isn't it? It's quite a nice place, that is, because it's quite tropical. Except for the Empire, just plodding all over the place. It'd be quite a nice place to go on holiday. Endor's lovely, though, at this time of year as well. I like Endor. What else? I think they're the two nice places. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else particularly. What about you? You like Tatooine? It's very dry. Not much going on there, really. Luke wanted to get away from that place, and you want to go there. Daniel, what about you? Where was you?
Not that much up on my planet. Where was the pod race?
That was Tatooine, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be joining you there.
You want to go there?
'Cause I'd love to have a pod race.
Excellent stuff. Right, this is it. The question from the journalist. The last question of the afternoon. Here it is.
What's Wickett's middle name?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know whether I can pronounce it right. I can spell it. It's Wysterie, Wistry. So the W stands for that. Although, you know what, I did ask George Lucas once, I said, what's this obsession with the W? Why did you call me, Wicket W Warwick? Thank you for that, I appreciate it. But why is it? What's the W bit in the middle? And he didn't answer that, but he did then go on to talk about naming the character in episode 1 Weasel. He said, well, we'll call that guy Weasel. But I think the W, he's George W. Lucas, you see, that's what his name is, so I wonder whether there's a little bit of a tie in there. But it's Wicket Wysterie Warwick. That's his full name.
So what age were you when you did your first? You were
11 turned 12 while we were doing it, yeah.
And so you had an audition and then you got the role?
An audition.
No?
It was a radio commercial.
Oh,
My
wow.
nan heard it and she said, does Warwick fancy doing this? He likes Star Wars. Went up to the studio, they said, do you want to be an Ewok? I said, what's one of them? And they said, go and find out, we'll measure you up for a costume. And that was it.
Yeah.
No audition, nothing. Just the right height for the job at the time. That's still the case.
What an amazing, varied and extraordinary career you've had, Warwick.
Very lucky.
You're a
very
real
lucky
true
indeed.
inspiration.
Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate it. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. Thanks for your questions. I hope you've had a good time. And please do remember that this happens every year. It's all down to the brilliant Malika, who's somewhere around, and the rest of the staff here at the Space Centre. So let's just hear it for those guys. Let's also hear it for the UK Garrison, who've done a brilliant job here once again. And Daniel, thank you for being here today. Thanks for coming. It's great to meet you. And we've loved hearing from him, haven't we? Thank you. Cheers, everyone. See you soon. Thank you.